Hey guys, Chris of the Polish Geek here, and I'm back with another review, this time of John Wick Chapter 4. I have to first give you my history with John Wick. I haven't seen any of the John Wick movies for the longest time, that's right. I only first time ever saw them only in the last 2 weeks, literally, because in order to prepare for John Wick Chapter 4, I decided I have to now watch all the previous 3 movies, or otherwise I won't be able to see this one. And yes, because if I didn't see the first 3, I would be completely lost in that one. But first, a little bit of my history, why I haven't seen John Wick movies before. I kept hearing lots of things about John Wick movies. They looked pretty good, and I heard nothing but good things about them, but for some reason I really never got around to watching them. I wanted to, but I was too busy with other things. Either I got distracted by movies I already love or by other things. Yep, for some reason I never got around to watching John Wick movies. And I wouldn't say I was even in the mood now, but since, as I said, Chapter 4 was coming out, I decided that either now or later it will be too late. Or at least too late to get this review for you. So, yes, I ordered all 3 of them on Blu-ray, because sadly they are not on Netflix here, or on HBO Max for that matter, here in Poland. So yeah, I sadly had to order them on Blu-ray, and I gotta say, I had a really good time watching them. The action is excellent and all, and the stories are enjoyable. I wouldn't necessarily call the stories groundbreaking, but they're certainly doing what they're meant to do, which is tell an enjoyable story with a great lead character and provide some amazing action, and that's certainly what the John Wick movies are. So, what I think of John Wick Chapter 4? I personally have to say it was actually my favorite of all the 4 John Wick movies. I think that most people prefer maybe the first or second because they are used to them. But as I said, for me, all 4 of those movies are completely new. So, for me at least, Chapter 4 is the best of them. First, I would say about John Wick Chapter 4 is that it's decidedly a movie that you certainly have to watch the other 3 first. As I said, I only recently watched the other 3, but as I said, if I hadn't seen them, I'll be completely lost, because Chapter 4 literally starts from where the previous movie Chapter 3 left off. Literally. So, yes, I'm glad I watched them. And the thing is, the story is that John Wick is in hiding from the High Table, the crime organization that he was part of before, and decides to wage war on them. And of course, lots of action and fighting ensues. And as always, the action is simply spectacular, like in all of the John Wick movies. Those movies objectively, I would say, are more for actually the action than a deep story. Not saying the story is bad, quite the opposite. I say that John Wick movies still have enjoyable stories, but story is not quite a priority in those movies. It's mostly amazing action. And this movie clearly delivered it. The runtime is almost 3 hours of this movie, but it went by fast, and I think it's largely because the action sequences here are very much extended and they are very, very long. And yet, they still feel it feels very earned, honestly. And honestly, I'm glad they are keeping action sequences here long, because they're just so awesome to look at. So, yeah. Because there were situations, even though I love action, there are situations where I honestly feel when there's only action, no story, Mad Max Fury Road, this very overrated movie that everyone loved, but I personally didn't really enjoy. But in John Wick, the action is simply excellent, and I can watch it again, because as I said, the action sequences here are simply spectacular and really amazing to watch. In all the other John Wick movies, and the creative kills he deals, are even more creative than in the James Bond, because in the past I used to think that James Bond would have more creative ways of killing his enemies, but I think John Wick's ways are even more creative at this point. And of course, the movie also has an amazing cast of characters. Like, of course, John Wick, and Keanu Reeves is excellent in playing John Wick. He's simply magnificent in the role. And honestly, I think I like him more as John Wick than I liked him as Neo in The Matrix. Then again, only the first Matrix is really a good movie and the others sucked, so yeah. But I think Keanu Reeves is excellent as John Wick. And the other characters here are here too, like Karen, the Bower King. But the story also introduces a lot of new characters, and actually it succeeds in fleshing them out and making us, or at least me as I was watching it, care about them and really wanting to learn more about them. Of the new characters, there is, for example, this girl named Akira who seems very frightened at first, but we learn so much more about her later. And there are other cool new characters too. That said, I will try not to really say a lot more about the movie, because this is a movie that really deserves to be experienced on the big screen in theaters, and I don't want to spoil too much, but I will say it's a perfect conclusion to the John Wick saga. It's certainly much bigger and bigger scale than all the previous John Wick movies. And again, I already said it extensively, but I'll say it one more time. The action is spectacular, the characters are quite likable, and I had a really good time with John Wick Chapter 4. It's now my favorite of all the John Wick movies. And it might have actually dethroned Shazam! Fury of the Gods as my favorite movie of 2023. I mean, there's still quite a lot of movies, and I'm very certain both of those movies will be easily dethroned. But for now, I actually think that John Wick Chapter 4 might be number one. Like, as I said, I was saying that I'm sure Shazam! Fury of the Gods will be dethroned, and here we are. Then again, I don't think either one of those movies will even be in the top 5 by the end of the year, if the upcoming movies deliver, of course. But yeah, and so in conclusion, I said John Wick Chapter 4 totally deserves to be experienced in theaters, and it was a really enjoyable, great action movie that really gave me a good time. Okay guys, thank you for checking out this video. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you later, bye!